Hey everybody, ronarray here, and as you already know, patch 0.1.1 is already out. And as many of you noticed, there have been changes to my demon mob build, but right now I tested it and figured it out. So the build is very strong, it's still kicking, and we can kill bosses just fine. You can look at my screen right now. I think that kill is even faster than it's been before the patch. So in this video, I'm going to showcase all the changes and updates, what happened to the build, and how we can kill bosses without a lot of issues again. Let's go. So first off, let's talk about our mapping situation, because the mapping is just like absolutely fine and not a lot of things even changed for mapping. In my previous video, the link to which I'm going to leave in the description and in the pinned comment, you can see all my mapping setups and barely anything changed. I filmed all my gameplay for mapping without Mask of the Stitch Demon, so my setup stays the same. I currently have capped resistances, please keep in mind that capped resistances could be very nice. And my energy shield is 9628 in the current setup. So I'm using the Ghost Wraith Tetrarch as usual, I'm using helmet with a lot of energy shield and life regeneration. Gloves are here mostly to stack resistances and some energy shield on top. I'm also using boots for energy shield and life regeneration, belt for life regeneration, and amulet for life regeneration. With conservative casting, I think it's working pretty nice. I'm also using amethyst ring and another amethyst ring. So such setup is working just fine for maps, not a lot of things changed. There's a few little differences in the trees that I exchanged for the moment, and I'm going to showcase them. So instead of going for additional jewel socket here, I spent the same amount of points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, taking a socket here, but reached inner faith, so we can spend 3 points right here to get additional maximum energy shield. And I think it's working pretty great for our survivability while mapping, and to improve our damage against bosses too. Not a lot of other changes in the tree. I'm also currently not using Master of Hexes and Lingering Whisper. I don't really think it's like necessary in the current setup because we're already doing enough damage. The rest stays the same. You just go around and you take all possible jewel sockets, because jewel sockets are going to help you a lot with life regeneration, additional stun threshold, and some area of effect. And it's pretty much enough for mapping. But the bossing question is much more interesting, because since Mask of the Stitch Demon right now is changed, we just can't use it anymore as we did before. So when we are using Mask of the Stitch Demon, as you can see, we are losing all energy shield. So the bossing setup is different. And right now I'm going to showcase what you will need to change for bossing. So for mapping, you're using the same amount of things. You're using Summon Infernal Hound, Elemental Army, Mid Shield, Minion Mastery, Fire Mastery, and Calendar Strike. Blasphemy together with Despair and Ritualistic Cures, Hexblast with Consider Casting, Arcane Surge, Inspiration, Minion Pact, and Concentrated Effect. And keep in mind that for mapping, you need to replace Concentrated Effect with Magnified Effect for more area of effect. That way it will be much better way to map with it. Yeah, you can literally take Magnified Effect from here and just use it for mapping. But for bossing, make sure that you have Concentrated Effect in. We're also going to use Contagion together with Hinder, Chaotic Freeze, and Persistence. Make sure that you are using Contagion to all bosses, because Chaotic Freeze is going to help you freeze bosses pretty fast. It synergizes very well with Thin Ice passive, because 50% increased damage with hits against frozen enemies is pretty good right now. Talking about the rest, we also are using Dark Effigy together with Font of Mana and Withering Touch. Mana Tempest is not really necessary anymore. It's used only against map bosses, and I'm not even clicking it that often. It's not really needed for bigger bosses, and if you're going to fight pinnacles, don't use it. And Green Fist is here for mapping, and Withering Presence is here for bossing. So if you're mapping, make sure you're using Green Fist, and if you're bossing, you need Withering Presence. So just off Green Fist and start using Withering Presence. A lot of people are asking me how I have enough spirit in my current setup. To get enough spirit, you will need to make sure that your blasphemy has quality for reduced reservation. That's very important, make sure that you have it up. So let's talk about bossing in particular. First off, make sure that you're using concentrated effect. And after that, you will need to swap a few items. We're still using Mask of the Stitch Demon, so if you're going to boss, just swap Mask of the Stitch Demon in. After that, we're also going to use Amulet called Everlasting Gaze, because it's going to give us a lot of maximum energy shield. So as you can see, my energy shield right now is 8k 244 with a Mask Stitch Demon, so just swap the Amulet. And after that, swap Ingenuity Build in. That way, you will have 8737 shield. And you're going to feel pretty nice in almost all cases. You're going to have not capped resistances for pinnacle bosses. It could be a little hard in some cases, but as you can see in my video right now on the screen again, we are killing the boss very fast. You just need to dodge the first ability, and after it you can crowd control it almost immediately and kill it in seconds. So no issue on that part, you shouldn't worry a lot about your resistances. What's really important is Ingenuity, which is going to buff your rings, and Everlasting Gaze, which is going to improve your energy shield significantly. It's also going to help you with mana. I recommend to just allocate Outer Brain Chemistry, let me showcase that, it's here, Outer Brain Chemistry, with mana recovery from flasks. Because that way it will be much easier to recover the mana. And another important moment, how we are not dying immediately, look, we barely have any health. I recommend to allocate Mind over Matter against bosses, because we have around 1000 mana and small hits will not kill us immediately. It could be pretty helpful if you will receive a small hit here and there. Generally, I obviously recommend you to dodge, but if you cannot, Mind over Matter helps at some cases. If you feel like you don't have enough mana recovery rate with it, you can drop it and try to just dodge, but generally I recommend to play it. So for the boss setup, we need Mind over Matter, we need Amulet Everlasting Gaze, we need Ingenuity and Masks of the Stitch Demon again, because we are going to use it to reach a tremendous amount of stacks. With Masks of the Stitch Demon and such stats as I have right now, so around 1136 life recovery rate and 71 maximum life, I can reach about 1000 stacks right now. And together with Ingenuity bonus damage which we are receiving from Minx Hearts, it helps a lot to kill bosses fast enough. And that setup should work just fine. But please keep in mind that if you are mapping, you will need to exchange it, because you will be just unable to use it. So when you're mapping off your Withering Presence, activate Green Fist, replace Concentrated Effect with Magnified Effect, use a normal build, use a normal helmet, and use a normal amulet. That way you will be capped on all resistances, and it should work absolutely just fine. You should have around 200 Demon Flames, as you can see I'm starting to burn at that point, but since you have Cannibalism, you will be able to hold a little higher. For mapping, 200 stacks should be more than enough, but if you feel like you need more at some point, you know what to do. Just swap the rest of the things and it's just going to work alright. And please keep in mind, so if you're not bossing, I genuinely recommend to get rid of Mind over Matter. You can still try to play with it, even if you're just fighting like maps too, but it's not really a good point. If you don't want to swap it all the time, you can just keep it on, because all damage taken from mana before life. We're not really receiving a lot of damage to life, because we have tremendous energy shield. As you can see, I have like almost 10k right now. And it should be enough in the most cases. And as you can see, I can survive up to 236 Demon Flame stacks with the flask, and even without killing. With Cannibalism, it could be a little more. After that, I'm just like dropping out. And the rest of the build stays the same. You can check the main setup in my previous video, and also I just remind you that Second Wind is pretty mandatory for Demon form. I think it's a very nice bonus, because you can also always rejoin it. That's pretty much what we currently have. No other changes are necessary, so just mapping with that setup and bossing with Ingenuity, Everlasting and Mask of the Stitch Demon. You also don't really need to buy a very good Ingenuity build. I think you can go with one for like 70% and it will be enough for the bosses in the most cases. At worst you will need like 2 attempts, but as you can see in my example, it worked pretty good. You can also use such things as deep freeze or for example glaciation at some of your skills to improve your freeze build up and freeze duration at enemies. For example, if you feel like your mana is fine at the boss, you can literally change Inspiration or Arcane Surge with one of those 2 gems. You can also replace, for boosting you should have concentrated effect. You can also replace Minion Pact. In that case, you're going to deal less damage, but your freeze duration and freeze build up will be much stronger. So I recommend to use only one of those if you feel like it's necessary. I'm not using any because as you've seen, I'm killing the boss very fast and there's not a single issue with that. So that's pretty much it. If you will still have questions, you can always ask me on one of my streams. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you next time. ronarray out.